Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Perspective. We'll be talking about a lot of speculation that has given rise to a lot of rumors about Nawaz Sharif's return, the former Prime Minister, whether he will return or not, and what are the ramifications of that on the political scene overall. Of course, we'll be talking about the government and the reorganizational structure as far as the PTI is concerned that has been revamped. What does that mean for overall the local bodies elections? What does the government hope to achieve? We'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking about, of course, the new affidavit as far as the affidavit of Rana Shamim is concerned and what that can mean as a whole. Of course, we've had different narratives come out from the government and the opposition regarding the affidavit in question. What does it mean, if anything at all, for the political scene? Are these just rumors and speculation, which is what the government, of course, is saying? All of that today on Perspective. I have with me Sadiqul Farooq, who's leader PMLN. Thank you for joining us today. Abdul Samad Yaqoob, who is leader PTI. Thank you for joining us. Mustafa Abdullah Baloch, who is with the PPP. Thank you for being with us. And Irfan Ghori, who is a senior journalist. Thank you for joining us today. Ji, Sadiqul Farooq sahab, a lot is being said about your leader, the former Prime Minister Mian Nawaz Sharif, and the fact that he is going to return or not. And then again, of course, you know, from within your party, there are denials that will happen or not. Of course, Shehbaz Sharif sahab has said that he will come only after he fully recovers. What is the scene? What's happening?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Neither Nawaz Sharif nor anyone other from our party has ever said that Nawaz Sharif will not come or will never come.
Okay.
Everyone said that when he recovers, he will come back.
Okay.
And now I think his general health conditions are good.
Okay.
However, other problems are still there. And I hope, that
That's okay. Ji.
That he will soon, inshallah,
return.
But
after he is well again, or, you know, because recently we also had things, your own leaders say that they're going, one of them has said that they're going to go bring him back, things like that. Why does, you know, that keep coming up, that narrative that Mia Saab is about to come, and when he comes, you know, there is some sort of signal that the PMLN has received, you know, all the speculation that is surrounding his return. Why is that happening?
Of course, there should be neither mystery nor speculation nor rumors. But as far as I know, he may come in the month of January 22, coming month, or at the most February.
Okay.
But if all things go according to Constitution and there is no mystery, things are transparent in Pakistan, I think such rumors will not be aired.
Okay. On that note, I think that's very relevant. Let me go to Abdul Samad Yaqoob ji. Abdul Samad sahab, according to Sadiqul Farooq sahab, he's saying if all things go according to the Constitution, then of course at this time the Prime Minister said that Mia Saab himself stands disqualified according to a verdict that stands still. You know, as far as the Supreme Court is concerned. So if things go according to that Constitution, rule of law, all of those things, then when he returns, you know, he's likely to go to jail and you know, follow on from there and not start contesting any polls, not participating in any politics. Isn't that true?
Well, though I couldn't understand your question, but as far as I think there are different things. First of all, he's disqualified, which was the his disqualification, whether lifetime period of disqualification, lifetime, or it's 5 years. It is interpreted by the Chief Justice Saqib Nisar that he was disqualified for the lifetime. So the other part is what will be the fate of Mian Nawaz Sharif when he is going to return. He will be immediately immediately sent to jail. He will be arrested right away because obviously the land of the law says the same thing, that when he's, I think, absconding, as he returns, he will be immediately sent to the jail. And rest of the fate of the
Expect
case
him
will
to
be
return. What does the PTI expect him to return at this time?
well, these are speculations, and these speculations are based on Javed Latif's statement that he indicated that, and then Maryam Nawaz indicated that. So these speculations are based on the indications of both of the PMLN leaders. So it is not we as in God tried to seek their warrant from the Red Fort.
Samad Sahab, isn't it true that at this time it doesn't suit your government to to have those rumor afloat in the scene, considering the performance of the party in the local body polls?
Irrespective of it suits us or not, is that question to me, right?
Sorry, can you please repeat that? I think there's a problem with audio.
Did you ask me a question?
Ji, let me go to Irfan Sahab. I'll come back.
to repeat question.
Ji.
Whether it suits us or not, this is apart from this. Apart from whether it will be in our favor or it will go against. Apart from that, I don't think that. I mean, we were seeking his red warrant from the Interpol, which was not served.
Anyway, right. Okay. Let me come back to you. Ji, Irfan Sahab, overall, as a journalist, it's true that our politics and certainly has a fondness for speculations, has a fondness for theories, has a fondness for the third force and the fact that there are signals which are being sent to different political parties. A lot being said about people going to London to meet the former Prime Minister pursuant to having received those signals, all of those things. Overall, at this time, how do you see the political makeup and politics in terms of the PMLN, Nawaz Sharif Saab, if he chooses to return at this time, and the PTI and its performance in the polls?
Thank you very much, Maruf. I think, there have been many developments in the last few days, and these speculations are making round. But there are many ifs and buts, as it has already been said, that these, whatever the indications that we have been getting, these came initially from PMLN. The party of Nawaz Sharif Saab. But I would say here, and there have been, some sort of indications as well that some understanding or some sort of, the word, I won't use the word very, it's very infamous word in our context, that some deal has been done or something like that. If that is the case, then I think, I'm saying there are so many ifs and buts about his coming, but if that is the case, then it would be very unfortunate because the main, for the last 3 years, the narrative or the slogan on which Nawaz Sharif Sahab had been, propagating and getting the support, that was that vote ko izzat do, give respect to the vote, and the role of those institutions are the powers that be. It should be limited to what it is confined in the Constitution. And in a situation, if he is coming with those, violating all those things, then it would be sort of in our political history. We know that the things here, they do not go as per the laws and
But
constitution.
he is
this
at
was
this
something
time, he does at this time stand disqualified. So if he chooses to come at this time, whether he's coming to face the courts and whether he's coming to challenge that and how he pertains to do that, whether it's even possible, which is what the Prime Minister spoke about, or whether he's coming to a signal or not. I will go to Siddiqul Farooq Sahab later with that. But we have with us Mustafa Abdullah Baloch from the PPP. Ji. Mustafa, overall, as far as Asif Ali Zardari Sahab is concerned, even he made some cryptic remarks recently. He's also, it is said, taken up, he's going to be in Lahore to oversee the polls at this time. And with the recent results in one of the elections, the by-elections, the PPP certainly hopes to make significant inroads into Punjab.
Well, Marukh, to be very honest, see, People's Party has always faced those consequences which I guess PMLN has never faced. Right now, the perception about Mia Saab's comeback and supposed deal is certainly not in favor of the democracy. You know, it's very easy and convenient for Mia Saab to, fly away and then come back and give a perception that, okay, things are like normal for him. Like, on the other hand, former President Asif Zardari was there facing courts in 3 years. And he had the chance to go back, to go anywhere, but he was here. He was facing the courts. And he was like, and the statement which you're talking about, see, it's becoming obvious. If these kind of things will happen again and again, then the narrative of Mia Saab of vote pe izzat do is like, it was an eyewash.
You're saying that it's not because of vote ko izzat do and the narrative itself, it's because he's coming because he's received some sort of signal.
Maybe see the perception is like he has been given some a signal that okay, things will be not as harsh as it were earlier.
But they've been saying for a while. That, I mean, isn't it true that the PMLN has been saying for a while that he will come back? It happens again and again. It's not the let me come back to you, Ji Siddiqul Farooq Sahab. Isn't it true that now and again we keep hearing, and this is not the first time that we've heard the fact that the former Prime Minister will come back. It happens now and again. Even a year ago, I think you were on the program, and there was this rumor mill that said that he was going to come back, and then he chose not to. So, did the signal not work at that time? What happened then?
No, Marukh, actually, at that time, neither I said nor anyone among our party. But now,
you are saying?
Now, PMLN President and of course Nawaz Sharif himself has said that inshallah, very soon I will be with you while addressing a meeting of the workers.
So what do you expect when he comes back? Does he expect to go to jail? What does he expect? How does he expect to challenge the verdict based on the affidavit? Based on this evidence as far as against the former Chief Justice is concerned. How does he plan to go about that?
We have to face courts.
Okay.
Similarly, Nawaz Sharif, we do not want any special favor from anyone.
Okay.
We do not want any favorable signal from anyone.
Okay.
As I have categorically said, and I insist that we just want even-handed treatment and rule of law. So law is for everyone.
But Siddiqul Farooq, according to the law at this time, he stands disqualified for life.
Of course. No. That is also disputed. That is not law. That was a judgment given by...
That's a verdict of the Supreme Court.
That is verdict, but the spirit of the Constitution doesn't support that.
Okay. The spirit of the
Constitution... A bona fide citizen of Pakistan cannot be disqualified for his whole life. Cannot. Okay. Yes. So we will challenge it once again. We will challenge it once again. And
where will you challenge it? In the Supreme Court again?
In the Supreme Court,
how does that work? There's no right of appeal.
There are precedents that even third time, a review petition can be accepted.
Okay, let's
Yes.
find out if there are those review petitions.
And as far as the co-chairperson of PPP and former President Asif Ali Zardari is concerned, we welcome him coming to Lahore, staying there, and we will also appreciate his political activities because this is Pakistan.
Do you think that, yes, this is Pakistan, but do you think that overall, as far as the makeup of political parties and the hierarchy is concerned, are you surprised, as PMLN surprised, as far as the performance of the PPP is concerned? Do you think that your vote bank, is it possible, is decreasing in favor of the PPP perhaps? Or is it because the PTI's vote bank is decreasing? How do you see the situation? Because it seems like PPP is overall doing okay, better than they would have expected in the by-polls that
2018 and in by-polls.
Ji.
Yes, their vote bank even in Multan was doubled almost, but not winning position. So here at Lahore,
Ji.
Because of the absence of PTI and a hidden support, they secured 34,000 votes. So if they secure more votes,
hidden
even
support
they win.
again, Sadiqul Farooq Sahab, there is some hidden
That is
support.
there. That is there.
You don't have hidden support, but PPP does.
I know that PTI people were asked to vote in favor of, to cast their vote in favor of PPP. There were others, even a PPP leader claimed that Tehreek-e-Labbaik also cast their vote in favor of PPP.
Let's go to Mustafa
So,
Saab.
but we will welcome if they win more seats.
It doesn't matter to you whether the signal is in favor
not
of the
at all,
PPP.
not at
Ji,
all.
Mustafa Saab, how do you respond to that? Do you think, I mean, according to Sadiqul Farooq Saab, he's saying that people were told to cast their vote in favor of the PPP. Overall, that is behind what happened as far as your performance is concerned. How do you see that?
There is a very misconception. If you talk about PPP's, footprints in Punjab, like we are not alien for Punjab. People's Party has been doing very well in Punjab. Until 2008, we were like the single largest opposition party of Punjab. And even in 88, when Mohtamma came back, we won almost 8 out of 9 seats of National Assembly from Lahore. So People's Party has strong vote bank in Punjab, but due to some reasons, things were not going well. But right now, you have seen that the by-election of NA133, we secured 32,000 votes, and our vote bank was increased. And while PMLN's vote bank decreased from 90,000 to 43,000. So naturally, the voters, the supporters of People's Party who are coming back to People's Party, and we have a strong hope that inshallah in coming elections we will gain more seats from Punjab.
You think that, so what do you say to the fact that according to him, he's saying that there are forces behind the increase in popularity as far as your vote bank is concerned?
That's hilarious. How can you just give a statement that People's Party is coming back and with the support of some hidden hand? It's not true. Like the hope of people after like the poor performance of PTI has been translated towards hope towards Bilawal Bhutto. He's a young, energetic leader, and people have hope with him. So naturally, the vote bank has increased because they have no other option. And Mia Saab is not over here. And the
Let
way
me clarify.
Nawaz has been aggressively,
Popularity is something different. Just few seconds, Mustafa Saab, just few seconds.
Let me come back to you. I will just come back to you. Let me go to Abdul Samad Saab. Ji, Abdul Samad Saab, overall, as far as the performance is concerned, the way the Prime Minister reacted to what happened as far as the local government polls in the KPK is concerned, overall, the changes that have been made also, what is behind, I mean, what do you expect? Firstly, what is behind this setback that the PTI has recently received?
Well, Marukh, I would say that on a lighter note, that मीर क्या सादे हैं, बीमार हुए जिसके सबब फिर उसी अतार के लड़के से दवा लेते हैं. Well, on the as the party organization is dissolved, So the general sentiment, I can tell you the general sentiment of the worker of the PTI, which is which there is a resentment of these appointments. I mean, the president of Punjab, then Southern Punjab, Khushro Bakhtiar, who is like I can express the sentiment of the worker. And apart from that,
how do you feel? I mean,
the
overall, why do you feel, as far as the polls are concerned, do you think it's price hike, inflation that is overall responsible for what happened? Because, you know, we are hearing the government, the Prime Minister saying that they're trying to put the economy on track. Recently, the Prime Minister said that he feels it is now on track and it will start bearing fruit. But and that will be seen in the next phase of these local bodies elections. Do you think that that is the reason, or do you think overall it is because of the way the tickets were awarded? Because that is also something that is being said.
When there is a setback in local government elections, I mean, not only the party is not only the responsible for that. Overall government performance matters. It's not only the party, but still we respect the decision of the chairman of the PTI. The decision was taken collectively by the core member of core committee. So apart from that,
I'm not Abdul Samad Sahab, I'm not discussing the appointments, the recent appointments. I'm just asking for the reason behind the performance overall. According to you, as a worker, how do you see what are the reasons behind this? You know
that the tickets were distributed wrongly. I mean, they could have issued the ticket to the better candidates. So first of all, he admitted that factor, and secondly, overall performance of the government does impact on the result. That is, I mean, that is a precedent that we should admit that somehow the people of the KPK was not that satisfied. So that's why we are restructuring the party and we are reconsidering everything.
Okay, fair enough. Mustafa Saab, overall, let me come back to you. Irfan Saab, overall, as far as the performance is concerned, do you think that as a journalist, I mean, of course, you know, it is up to the Prime Minister, it is up to him as the chairman of his political party to revamp it, reorganize it, restructure it, however he sees fit. But in your opinion, what is behind, you know, the setback? Do you think that overall economy is something that the country has been, in price hike, inflation is something we've been talking about for a while? And going to IMF, you know, and the fact that what kind of a deal is the government expecting? Were there any options if there was another government? All of those things. Do you think that is behind the performance?
Maruk, I think yes, economy is the main factor, and that had been, you know, since this government came, you know, to power. Though they had different other slogans of reforming the institutions, then the accountability and all of that, and the good governance. On all those fronts, we see, you know, more talking than the actions. You know, this is what we have seen, and especially for the common people, it is the economy. The tickets might have mattered. I mean, on certain certain, you know, certain seats there were, you know, and this is what has been happening in our context with almost all the parties. But when it comes to, you know, people voting for you, especially, you know, in the local bodies elections, it is, you know, the people have their local issues. And for the common man, if you go in a street and you know, I mean, people, middle class people like us, we are, you know, economically, when we see the situation 3 years down the line, we see that, you know, it's becoming more and more difficult for you to survive.
It's largely, according to you, it's largely about economics. Let me come back to you. Samad Sahab, overall, as far as economy is concerned, we've been talking about the fact that regardless, you know, of the government at this time, economy itself, we are in a precarious position. There's no denying that. Any other government at this time, going to IMF, there was critique from the opposition on that also. But that seems to be a foregone conclusion. There doesn't seem to be any other option at this time. If you talk about going to other banks, you talk about the ADB, the loan from there, all of those things did the government really have other options? And any other government, whether it was the PPP or the PMLN, the main opposition parties, would they have any other options? Isn't that the question? Ji, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
I don't think you can hear me.
We are trying to, I mean, after the COVID, I mean, the real issue is the food inflation, then inflation, high inflation rates. This is the price hikes. This is the actual concern of the general public. So we are trying to, I mean, handle the economy and in a best manner, which could be. Which options are available?
I want to go with that. Ji, Samad Sahab, I want to go to Mustafa Abdullah Baloch with this. Ji, Mustafa Sahab, I mean, as far as the PPP is concerned, you know, we keep talking about, the opposition keeps talking about performance as far as the government is concerned, but we don't see them give out any options.
See, Maruf, there's not just the economic crisis, but right now Pakistan is facing the worst gas crisis. Like, you know, in Karachi, there is absolutely severe condition. Like, people are facing very difficult times, you know, people are going through difficult times, you know, and then they cannot just you know, put all the blame on IMF that, okay, just because we went to IMF, these are the situations we are facing because of IMF, and if any government, like, for example, if there was People's Party or PMLN, the situation would be the same. It's not like that. There is an acute shortage of competence in this government. You know,
okay, let me come back to you.
The focus.
Ji, Sadiqul Farooq Sahab, would you have any other options as far as the economy is concerned? As far as the PMLN is concerned, would there be any other option firstly than going to the IMF?
First of all, it is not only the failure of PTI government.
Okay.
It is basically the failure of Imran Khan,
okay,
who claimed having made a good team,
okay,
and he has changed so many teams, so many persons, ministers, secretaries, but failed to deliver. On all fronts, whether it is economy, whether it is law and order, whether it is foreign policy, etc. He failed to fulfill commitments made with the people, especially in KPK, where their government is now going to complete second term. 8.5 years have passed, and they have not been able to deliver. I belong to KPK.
But people re-voted them, right? I mean, in this election, there's no denying that.
Of course, they have voted for, but not with that success as they were expected.
Right. Okay.
Now, option you said. First of all, good policy and implementation, and for that you need political stability.
There's no political stability.
No, of course, no, not.
Why? Why?
You have to take all forces along with you.
Sadiqul Farooq Sahab, how is there no political stability at this time?
You see, opposition is not with them, and when opposition wants to shake hand or to want to support them, they don't. They reject their support.
Okay.
And courts and NAB and other institutions are being used against opposition.
Okay.
Now amendments have been made in NAB law, and those amendments have made Prime Minister, Chief Ministers, Cabinet members and bureaucracy out of that, out of you may say reach, and only opposition is being targeted.
But Sadiqul Farooq Sahab, overall, as far as you know, the opposition is concerned, you come out and you criticize the government. You come out and you say that, you know, what they're doing, like you're saying now, as far as policy is concerned, as far as change, constant change is concerned, all of those things. But we don't see the opposition ever coming out and giving any other options. Does the you know, for example, does the PMLN have another option apart from going to the IMF?
It is not
do you have another option?
It is not the opposition who is suggesting different options. When there is something, some problem, it extends cooperation for national cause, as we cooperated.
Do you? Do you extend cooperation for
Of
national
course,
cause?
when PTL, Pakistan Labbaik,
Pakistan Tehreek-e
Pakistan
Labbaik,
PTL,
ji.
when they staged dharna here,
Yes.
so the whole opposition supported the government.
Okay.
Then regard COVID-19, then Indian aggression, and then the leader of the opposition offered Charter of Economy, but Imran Khan rejected.
Okay, let me go to Samad Saab with this. Ji, Samad Saab, why doesn't the PTI take up? I mean, when when things are better, generally speaking, why doesn't the government take up the opposition's offer? Is there a genuine offer first on the table for the government, for the PTI, as far as economic charter is concerned, as far as extending their help or their cooperation on main issues like economy is concerned? Is there an offer in your opinion, and if there is, why doesn't the PTI or the government take it?
No, we welcome it. I mean, if there is any charter of economy, and if these issues are being discussed in a parliament, if there is a consensus, we will welcome it. I mean, these issues actually should be discussed in the parliament, and there should be a consensus. This is the very much need. I mean, it is much needed today. So,
but Samad Saab, overall, as far as the PTI is concerned, we've been hearing this for a while.
Abdul Samad Saab welcomes, his leader doesn't welcome.
Anybody, okay, well, I mean, for right now, he is a spokesperson for the PTI, I mean, on our show, and if you're saying so, overall, as far as the PTI is concerned, every time, and it's not only him, whoever comes from your party has said that they do want to welcome it, they do want there to be that kind of cooperation from the opposition. But, it's a case of he says, she says, because the opposition says that they offered and the government says, well, they didn't offer, and, it never comes to that point. Wouldn't it suit the government for them to take up the opposition's offer and sit together on the issue of economy, because it would certainly benefit the country, it would benefit the people? Or is it about the vote bank? Because the opposition would, of course, want to gain where the government loses.
Well, Maruk, I would say one thing, that it is always good to interact with Siddiqul Farooq Saab. He's a positive guy. I respect him, but the ground realities, in fact, from our side or from opposition side, the ground reality is bashing from both sides. I mean, the political culture is always volatile. It is not in favor of where the consensus can be made. So, I mean, when we hear the discussion in the parliament, it is always, whether it comes from Murad Saeed, whether it comes from Shehbaz Gill or whatsoever, or from other side of the opposition benches, it is always, bashing. There is no positive, there is no such positive steps we should be appreciated, or we should come from both sides. So this is an unfortunate.
From both sides, you've said so, right? Okay, Irfan Saab, overall, you think that our politics is structured in such a manner where we don't have, the opposition and the government cooperating on any level, and that is just the way that things are done in this country? Do you think it's that, or do you think that it's just because they can't coexist? I mean, I don't think that you correct me if I'm wrong, and I may be wrong, but there doesn't seem to be at any time in which the opposition and the government together have come to on one table as far as core issues like economy is concerned. Do you think that's just because the way things are done here, or do you think it's just other issues as far as the PTI, the PMLN, PPP is concerned?
Maruf, I think, when it comes to the consensus on economy, or, the major issues like extremism, tolerance in the society and all that, all the political parties, they should have sit together. But unfortunately, as we have been discussing here, that instead of, discussing the things, how to move the country forward, what we discuss mostly is the, parochial, very small matters. The reason being that we take certain steps forward, and then we go back, like in 2006, the political parties at that time, the main political parties at that time, they had signed the Charter of Democracy, and there where they had pledged certain things. But soon afterward, when the military rule was over, the same political parties that had signed that covenant, they were, they were doing everything against each other. And when this came to PTI, when they came to power, unfortunately, they have not even tried. There are, when you bash everybody that they are corrupt, they are, we are not going to talk to you. That is not how you run the things. Especially when you have a parliamentary democracy where you need, especially, the opposition on board, you let them, and this when it comes to such things, it is mainly the responsibility of the ruling party that you take the opposition on board on important issues. But here, unfortunately, the PTI leadership, they didn't do so. Rather, whatever the approach we adopted, that has actually discredited the politicians as a whole, and it has damaged the
No, but Irfan Saab, according to the government, if you talk to them, the Prime Minister, according to him, he says consistently that as far as accountability is concerned, he doesn't want to compromise on accountability, and that is the reason why the opposition refuses to come to the table. And that accountability has been something that has been thrown back and forth between the opposition and the government, with the opposition, of course, terming it as victimization, the government terming it as accountability. And that seems to be the bone of contention as far as them sitting together on any core issues. Isn't that true?
Comes to accountability, if this was one of the main slogans, but that accountability should have been across the board, and it should have been seen as fair. But
right, okay. Let me go to Mustafa. Mustafa, unfortunately, we're running out of time, but your comments on what is behind this constant failure of the opposition as far as the PPP is concerned, because we keep on hearing, about the political acumen of Asif Ali Zardari Saab, and the fact that, of course, he's very politically savvy, all of those things, but we haven't seen him extend himself, so to speak, or the PPP extend themselves and sort of try to give a helping hand, which will be a helping hand not for the government but overall for the country at this time, for the people, on issues like economy, which should be about nationalism and which should be about patriotism rather than any one political party, right?
Marukh, the point is, the irony is actually that the ego of the Prime Minister is higher than Himalayas. I mean, how can you expect the opposition to come forward and, help you when you are putting them behind jail for 3.5 years? I mean, Asif Ali Zardari has been a political victim in his term. So he has been, all the while he was behind bars and he was facing cases. So how can you expect him to just come forward and, give a helping hand to a person who is not performing well as well, and also, witch hunting towards the opposition parties?
Okay. So it's really about accountability then. It's about what the government terms as accountability and you term as a witch hunt, or you term as victimization as far as the opposition is concerned. Your comments before we close.
It is not only the question of accountability.
What is it then?
Prime Minister is not ready to even shake hand with leader of the opposition.
Okay.
He is not ready to listen to any opposition leader or any member of the opposition.
Okay.
Whenever we try to extend our cooperation and sit together to evolve a national policy, he rejected our offer. So now the situation and affairs have reached to the extent that any useful cooperation at this stage is now out of question, and especially when the government has failed to deliver on all
because
fronts.
Now the PMLN has received some sort of signal where they expect.
Let me tell you, we don't believe in signals.
Okay, fair enough.
Actually, all surveys report that overall PMLN is the most popular party in Pakistan.
Right. Okay. On that
so
note,
we want just voters, electorate to decide.
Right.
And since this government has failed to deliver, and Pakistan is almost on the verge of collapse economically, so therefore we want that fresh election.
For which, on record, the opposition has not really done their part as far as giving alternatives is concerned. On that note, thank you so much for being with us, Sadiqul Farooq Saab. Thank you for joining us. Abdul Samad Yaqoob Saab, thank you for your time. Mustafa Abdullah Baloch, thank you for joining us. Irfan Ghauri, thank you for being with us. Unfortunately, whether you know, the politics of this country has been for a while now dictated by signals and talk of conspiracy theories, talks of having received some sort of you know, some sort of signal from somewhere which dictates the opposition taking certain steps. Now and again, rumors fuel the capital about the former Prime Minister's return. It's also something that hasn't happened the first time. Let's see what happens as far as the former Prime Minister's return is concerned. But certainly one would like to see politics in this country where the opposition and the government can have a conducive relationship, also have some kind of a collective role in issues like economy, in issues of national importance that relate to the country, to the people. If indeed they do have a stake in the benefit, you know, whatever the advantage of the people, the prosperity of the people of Pakistan are concerned. Thank you so much for joining us today on Perspective.